Good night. This is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharb. I am live as usual to take your U.S. immigration related questions, and I have a topic to talk to you about tonight. So I want to delve into a little more detail for those of you who don't know about this, and it is VAWA. So VAWA is called the Violence Against Women Act, but it's not just for women. It's a form of immigration relief that can provide permanent residence, work permit, travel document, legal status, even if you're already out of status, even if you cross the border without permission. It can offer relief to individuals who are experiencing mistreatment, abuse, or extreme cruelty. Doesn't have to be physical, by a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident, spouse, parent if you're under 21 or under 25 under certain circumstances, or a citizen son or daughter who's 21 and up. And so I want to delve into a little more detail to tell you about it, to bring this to your awareness. If you're going through a situation like this, by all means schedule a consultation, because this could be the relief that you need to get straight, to be able to move forward with your life and empower yourself. So, as I said before, if you are in a situation where you're being mistreated by a U.S. citizen or a legal permanent resident, spouse, parent if you're under 25, under 25 in some circumstances, or under 21, or if you have a citizen son or daughter who's 21 and up, this could be for you. At the point that we've determined you qualify, you could then apply for this relief. You could apply for VAWA. Now, once the VAWA is approved, you could apply for your work permit and then your green card. In some circumstances, though, you can apply for your work permit, your permanent residence at the same time that you're applying for this relief. So it just depends on what your particular circumstances are, who the qualifying relative is, to determine whether you can get your work permit while you wait for the process to be completed, or whether you have to wait for apply first, then apply for your work permit afterwards. But either way, it could be the solution you need, especially if you're still currently married to that spouse and they're married to the spouse, or still living with your parent, still living with your son or daughter, and they are not assisting you. They're refusing to assist you with your process. Then this could still be the solution, and it still leads to relief at the end of the day. Still leads, no matter whether you apply for the work permit during or after you get a decision, it leads to a work permit and empowerment for you. So this is how the process looks, right? So the minute that I determine that you qualify, and I not only look for physical violence, but I look for emotional abuse, mistreatment, verbal, financial. These are also forms of abuse, and you should never discount this if you are going through it by saying, yeah, but they never hit me, or they never physically attacked me, or they never threatened to attack me physically. This abuse is abuse, whether it's verbal, whether it's financial, whether it's emotional, it's still abuse. And so it's very important for you to understand that, and I accept that for yourself, and to get the help that you need. Because these forms of abuse, the physical abuse, may leave external marks on your body, may leave scars, but so does emotional abuse, so does financial abuse, and it leaves internal scars. And so you have to protect yourself. You shouldn't be going through this, and you shouldn't be discounting what you're going through to say, well, you'd never qualify for this just because this person, this qualifying relative, never hit you or threatened to hit you. Now, at the point that I do determine you qualify, we get straight to work. Once you determine that you want me to be your attorney, I and my team get straight to work to getting your application together, gathering the evidence that you need to show this. Now, the kind of evidence that you need to show abuse doesn't have to be just a police report. It doesn't have to be pictures of, marks on your body. While that, of course, is helpful to a case, if you have it, it's not required. What I do is I work with my clients to talk about what they went through, take their statement, put together a detailed declaration that is credible, that is believable, will still be accepted as evidence by an officer who's evaluating your case. And sometimes it can be just your statement. Also, it could be if you're doing counseling to heal from this, that can also be evidence of the effect it had on you, and evidence of the emotional scars, the internal scars that have been left by your relative. At the point that we gather all of this information, then we file. When we file it, then at the point we file it, the next step is once it's accepted and we get word from the immigration service that it is in process, we wait for your biometrics appointment, then we wait for your work permit, then we wait for your decision on the VAWA application. Once you get a decision, we know the next step is going to be your green card interview. So you're going to apply for permanent residence. This process right now is taking anywhere from 2 years to 2.5 years to go from no status to getting your 10-year green card. In addition to this is you can, so Montu133P, you said, please tell me, go ahead and put what you would like me to tell you in the comments. I also want to remind you that I'm here to answer your U.S. immigration related questions. So go ahead and put your questions in the comments. Oh, and I see your question, Montu. I'm working gas station, somebody coming to the store, $70 worth cigarette take and on the way. So Montu, I think this was a U visa. I've seen your question before. You'll have to schedule a consultation for me to determine whether you qualify. Usually, generally, when you are the victim of a crime that has resulted in physical or emotional, mental abuse, then this could be a path for you. So it's really going to come down to the facts in your case. What kind of mental or even physical abuse did this person subject you to when they were taking the cigarettes? And also, was this reported to the police? That is an essential part of the U visa application, is you must report it to law enforcement. And at the point you report it to law enforcement, I help my clients to obtain the U certification. That's where, and my clients don't have to worry about that part. I'm the one that I get in touch with the law enforcement and I get that information. But it will not, the U visa will not be accepted without it. And you would not be issued a work permit if you don't properly file your U visa. Now, the U visa, there are some exciting changes with the U visa. The U visa is for victims of certain qualifying crimes where they have experienced a crime that resulted in their mental or physical abuse. At that point that we determine you qualify, I prepare the application. And now the policy, there have been policy changes that allow U visa applicants not to wait until they get the approval to get the work permit. They can, as long as they submit a bona fide filing, that means a proper filing with the U visa application, the U certification, and you've done your biometrics and background check, then you would be able to obtain a work permit in a matter of months instead of years. Before the Biden administration, this was taking years just to get a work permit, and then 10 years to wait for the actual U visa. But now you don't have to wait for the U visa to be officially approved. You just have to properly file your application to be able to get the work permit within a matter of months. I'm seeing a pattern of 4 months, 4 to 6 months to get these work permits. So if you have been the victim of a crime, schedule a consultation and then let's confirm you qualify for the U visa. But as I was saying to Manchu, it depends on what the facts are in the case to determine whether this is a qualifying crime. Is it possible for an adult to file for her adult sister? Absolutely. It has now the adult has to be a U.S. citizen and 21 and over to be able to apply for the adult sister. But keep in mind that it is not a quick and easy solution. It's taking 14 to 22 years, just depending on what country you're in. And it will not be a fix to adjust status in the United States or stay and apply for permanent residence. Montu, you're welcome, and I hope to speak with you in a consultation to get started on your application. Was there a holiday visa overstay 1 year? How do I apply again for a visa? Was there, I'm not sure I understand, Marissa. So you were there. Okay, so you were there on a holiday and you overstayed your visa for 1 year. How do I apply again for a visa? That's going to require consultation, just because once you've overstayed over 1 year, you are barred for 10 years from re-entering the U.S. So it has very serious consequences. And so I'd want to speak with you to hear what the facts are, Marissa, and then be able to advise you according to what happened in your case. Okay, so hi there, Natasha. So I'm finishing up on VAWA. And so I was talking about who qualified, what kinds of abuse or mistreatment qualifies, what the process looks like, how long the process takes. Right now, work permits, to get the work permits is taking anywhere from 6 months to now 11 months. So it is taking a while for work permits. But nevertheless, when you do apply for this, you will get a form of relief at some point. So is it possible for an adult to file for her adult sister? So life of the attaché, I did answer that question. A U.S. citizen, yes, so life of attaché, I did, but I'll say it again. A U.S. citizen can apply for a U.S. citizen who is 21 and over can apply for their sibling, but it is not an easy or quick solution to fixing your status if you're in the U.S. And it's not going to be fast. It is a process that takes 14 years if you're in the Caribbean, even as long as 22 years if you're in Mexico. So at the point that you've gotten your work permit and you're now waiting for your adjustment of status interview, you may have officially gotten VAWA. At that point, you are assured that you have relief. You do have status until you can obtain your permanent resident. So ultimately, this is a good option for those who are going through the situation, whether you're married, whether you're living in the house with your spouse or with your relative, your parent, or your citizen son or daughter. You can still apply for this. And to keep it confidential, because it is confidential, the USCIS does not share this information. They don't look for approval from your qualifying relative. They don't notify them of this. They only look at the evidence before them to determine whether you qualify for this. And to avoid your relative or to avoid breaching confidentiality of this process, you can use my office address as the safe address. So I get all correspondence on behalf of my clients, and then we keep tabs on it, and that's how we move forward with the process. Alessandra, thanks for joining in. Welcome. If you have a U.S. immigration question, go ahead and put that question in the comments. I am finishing the topic up about VAWA. It is called the Violence Against Women Act, but it is for all genders, men, women, parents, children. It's for a variety of situations regarding abuse, mistreatment by a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident spouse, a parent if you're under 21 or under 25 in some circumstances, or a U.S. citizen son or daughter. My rule of thumb here, and what your takeaway should be, is that if you're being mistreated by any of these relatives, if they are refusing to apply for you, which could be related to control issues, then schedule a consultation. Let's talk about your personal particular circumstances to determine whether you qualify, and get started on getting this form of relief for you right away. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this, but this could also be a path for you to obtain your travel document. So I do have clients that are in a situation where they have children that they're separated from, and they want to travel while the process is pending to be able to see their children. That is a possibility. And also, if you have children who are under the age of 21, they can also be included in your application, which is awesome. So they don't have to file a separate application. They can be included in your application, whether they face abuse or not, and even whether they're in the U.S. or they're outside of the U.S. And if you're here in the U.S., of course, and they're outside of the U.S., they can still be included in your application. So it's very important to understand that and know that that option is there as well. So I hope I gave you some useful information, and I hope to hear from you in a consultation and to be able to work with you to gain status in the United States. I also want to let you know that if you have crossed the border without permission, and this is related to that relative who was abusive, then this is still could be a form of relief for you. If you're here out of status, still could be a form of relief for you. If you've overstayed your status, still could be a relief for you. So just remember that this VAWA makes it very flexible for qualifying individuals to still get relief in a situation where they're facing mistreatment or abuse by their U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident spouse, parent, or citizen son or daughter who is 21 and up. So that is it for me. Have a great night, and as usual, you'll see me tomorrow around 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Also look out for videos that my videos do provide information throughout the day, so keep following me to get those updates. And I hope to see you tomorrow or speak with you in a consultation. Thanks so much for the love. I appreciate it. Thanks for being so welcoming, and I'm looking forward to speaking with you soon. Have a good night. Thank you.